Revealed. Jungkook explains why only Taehyung was by his side. The shock came without warning, and it immediately forced the entire fandom to pause. Jungkook, in his most direct and emotional tone, finally broke the silence and explained why, during one of the most personal and pivotal moments in his life, it was only Taehyung who remained beside him. The revelation not only raised more questions, but also stirred waves of confusion, speculation, and empathy. Why Taehyung? Why only him? And where were the others at the time when Jungkook seemed to need all the support he could possibly get? For years, Jungkook has carried the reputation of being the golden magne, the member who never falters in front of the public eye. His charisma, discipline, and relentless professionalism have always placed him at the center of BTS's image. Yet behind that flawless surface, moments of vulnerability cannot always remain hidden. When he recently revealed that during a crucial event only Taehyung was present at his side, the statement pierced directly into the heart of ARMY. The fandom, known for its loyalty and emotional connection, now found itself demanding answers. What had happened to the brotherhood that was once portrayed as unbreakable? The explanation came slowly, with carefully chosen words, yet they carried a weight that could not be ignored. Jungkook described that in times when emotions overwhelmed him, the world around him became unbearably heavy. He confessed that in such moments he did not need a crowd, nor even the entire group's presence. What he needed was silence, loyalty, and the assurance that the one sitting beside him truly understood him without having to ask. And according to him, that person was Taehyung. The acknowledgement shocked fans, as it implied a kind of intimacy and trust that exceeded the expectations built around the public image of BTS. This statement was not given in a casual tone. Jungkook's voice, almost trembling, delivered his reasoning with a seriousness that left no room for light interpretation. He pointed out that the years of shared struggles, the countless sleepless nights, and the pressure that no outsider could possibly imagine had forged a bond between him and Taehyung that was different from the rest. Not better, not worse, but different. He explained that Taehyung's presence during his most fragile moments was not by chance. It was a reflection of how their paths had intertwined in a way that could not be replicated. The implications of his words, however, reached far beyond personal comfort. Observers immediately began to question the absence of the other members. Why was it that Jungkook's chosen companion during that moment was only Taehyung? Was there distance within the group? Had the overwhelming years of pressure created invisible lines between them? These questions fueled debates across social platforms, and ARMY found itself divided, torn between admiration for the bond Jungkook revealed and unease about what it might signify about the current state of BTS. Jungkook's candid explanation also opened the door to deeper interpretations. For him, Taehyung represented not only a friend, but also a mirror. In his words, "He sees me when no one else does." The weight of that sentence reverberated through the fandom. It implied a level of recognition and empathy that no external relationship, no amount of fame, and no professional duty could replace. At that very moment, it became clear that Jungkook was not only speaking about companionship, but about survival. This revelation was more than personal. It was historic in the timeline of BTS's narrative. The group has long been projected as a flawless unit, a model of unity and harmony. Yet Jungkook's explanation unveiled the truth that within every group dynamic, complexities exist, and trust often takes shape in unexpected ways. It was not an attack on the other members, but rather a bold acknowledgement that, in his lowest points, he did not rely on collective strength, but on the quiet understanding of one person. The emotional resonance of his words triggered countless reactions. Some ARMY cried openly, expressing gratitude that Jungkook had someone by his side at all. Others, however, demanded to know what this meant for the group's future, worried that this might signal deeper fractures behind the scenes. Social media erupted with hashtags, discussions, and emotional outpourings, though none of them were able to fully answer the question that lingered in every fan's heart. Why now? Why did Jungkook choose this exact moment to reveal such a sensitive truth? The timing of his revelation was undeniably strategic. Coming just after his birthday celebration, the atmosphere was already charged with emotions, expectations, and reflections on his journey. Fans had anticipated joyful messages, surprises, and lighthearted interactions. Instead, they were confronted with a statement that reshaped their entire perception of the group's dynamic. This was not the Jungkook of carefully polished performances and scripted fan interactions. This was Jungkook in raw form, confessing, explaining, and exposing a truth that had been carefully shielded for years. What cannot be overlooked is the role Taehyung played in this unfolding moment. His presence was silent, yet profound. Jungkook explained that Taehyung did not need to say much. His mere act of staying beside him, unflinching, became the anchor that kept him from collapsing. In a world where cameras never rest and where public scrutiny magnifies every move, such quiet solidarity became priceless. Jungkook revealed that Taehyung had been by his side in countless unseen moments, from hotel rooms after exhausting tours to private encounters where emotions boiled over beyond control. The consistency of Taehyung's presence is what set him apart. Still, this leaves the most haunting question unanswered. What does this mean for the future? If Jungkook acknowledges that in his weakest moments only Taehyung can truly be there for him, where does that leave the rest of BTS? The fandom is caught in a storm of conflicting emotions. Relief that Jungkook has someone to lean on, yet anxiety that this truth may signify divisions hidden behind the curtain of success. Some argue that the bond between Jungkook and Taehyung should be celebrated, not feared. Others insist that it points to an imbalance that the group cannot ignore forever. The tension is palpable, and the fandom continues to replay Jungkook's words in their minds. The drama lies not in fabricated rumors, but in the chilling reality that the group's youngest member has exposed. The spotlight may shine equally on all seven, but the shadows they walk through are faced differently by each. And in Jungkook's case, the one who chose to walk beside him was Taehyung. As the dust settles, one fact remains undeniable. Jungkook's revelation has shifted the narrative forever. The image of BTS as an unshakable collective now carries an additional layer of complexity, one that acknowledges individual struggles, selective bonds, and truths that may not align with the flawless facade. Whether this strengthens the group's authenticity or exposes fractures that demand attention, only time will tell. But one thing is certain: Jungkook's explanation, raw and unapologetic, has left ARMY and the entire industry in suspense, questioning not only the bond between two members, but the future of a group that has defined an era.